morning. Good morning to everyone. God, I hope you're feeling okay this morning. Hope you're feeling better this morning. It is Sunday, just after 5. Shoe time. And then we're going to dive into lesson 18. Guys, I can't believe you've been hanging with me for 18 lessons. You haven't given up yet. Remember, I think the first 50 lessons are the toughest. You get through that first 50 and you're, man, you still have, 315 days ahead, but you're in the home stretch. Before we can think with relying upon the Holy Spirit, even partially so, even just reaching out, knowing that we have that option, first we need to know that we're not doing so now. What's says, first 50 sounds like a drag. It's a bit of a drag, for sure. We're only on lesson 18 right now. So we're going to bring it up. Course in Miracles. We're going to put on the left shoe. That wasn't so bad. But, basically our entire lives, we have listened to the voice of the ego. Some people might be thinking, well, that's not so bad, right? Look what all it's given me. And if that's the case, awesome. No need to, jump into A Course in Miracles. It's not the path for everyone. Maybe, life is cruising along fine for you. For me, life was not cruising along fine. Life was filled with a lot of potholes, and I would step in every single one of them. So I needed something a little tougher, something a little more drastic. Having said that, once you step upon the path, once you really get to see it, the Course is a very gentle path. But it's non-compromising. With yoga, with Buddhism, we can compromise a little bit. I'm not saying that all Buddhists compromise or all yogis compromise. I wrote about that this morning, actually, that for me, Course in Miracles is my path of yoga. It's forgiveness. But what I'm saying is that in the path of yoga, we can get distracted by the asanas, right? The physical aspect of it. We can get distracted with the breath work that leads us to very ecstatic states, right? We can get so involved in breath work that we're, literally using it to induce what feels like states of higher consciousness. Wim Hof is a case in point. Wim Hof takes some basic yogic pranayama and sort of reinvigorates it, and it induces a very euphoric state, which is awesome, but it's not the end result. It's not the key to breath work. Same with meditation, which is, a mainstay practice of mine. Meditation can lead us to, hey, Anna, meditation can lead us to, it can awaken psychic gifts. We can get in these very, very deep states of absorption, states of absolute peace. We can reach Christ consciousness there, but we can also get lost. Course in Miracles is in your face. Don't get caught up in this. Don't get caught up in this. Don't get caught up in this. Yep, really. Absolutely, Wassa. Hey, Chuck. Good morning. And a lot of people don't like that because we want to get caught up. It's a distraction of the ego. If your interest is in a peaceful daily existence, not saying there's the absence of things to disturb your peace, it means that you learn to be at peace when they happen. If you're interested in choosing peace moment by moment by moment by moment, if you want to be able to forgive deep-seated resentments, set yourself free, moksha, as it's called in yoga, Sanskrit, then A Course in Miracles might be the path for you, because there's zero distractions. It does not lead you anywhere else but to a complete awakening in the moment. All right, one shoe, and then we're going to get to lesson 18. If anyone is new here, watching, I don't think so. I think I know everyone here, right? Please like and subscribe. I want to keep above that 9,000 point. I don't want to, we celebrated a little bit yesterday. I don't want to waste that celebration and drop down to 8,999 all over again. But you know what? It happens. Also says, yeah, I guess 10K lessons would be great if they're all really good one. If we got it. I'm not alone in the world I see. You certainly are not, my friend. Hey, Reflection, how are you? We often talk with guests that A Course in Miracles is holographic in nature. If you get one thing, you can get the entirety, but you truly, truly, truly have to get it. So one lesson could be enough. Any single lesson would be enough for complete awakening if we really got it. You know what? I trimmed the right side of my beard yesterday, and overnight, it just like blossomed into a mess again. I don't know what's going on, man. I have no idea what's going on. Lesson 18 says, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. If you remember, lesson 17 says that I see no neutral thought. I see no neutral things because lesson 16, I have no neutral thoughts. Lesson 15, my thoughts are images that I have made. My thoughts are images that I made, which is why we are not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. But let's dive in. The idea for today is another step in learning that the thoughts which give rise to what you see are never neutral or unimportant. It also emphasizes that the idea that minds are joined, which will be given increasing stress later on. Minds are joined. It's a very important concept. One mind. Today's idea does not refer to what you see as much as how you see it. Therefore, the exercises for today emphasize this aspect of your perception. The 3 or 4 practice periods which are recommended should be done as follows. Look about you, selecting any subject for the application of the idea for today as randomly as possible, and keeping your eyes on each one long enough to say, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of how I see this phone, this bell, this desk, this hand, whatever it is, your eyes. Keep your eyes on it long enough to say, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of how I see. Conclude each practice period by repeating the more general statement, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. A minute or so, or even less, will be sufficient for each practice period. Lesson 18 is very simple. Look around the room. Whatever your eyes light upon, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of how I see this notebook, this desktop, this calculator, this bowl, whatever. Conclude each practice session, 3 or 4 throughout the day. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. Questions? Chuck says, when I see you, I see everyone. Well, it's because I'm bald. The world's reflected off the top of my head. I should apologize for that. I'm going to bring up chapter 12. I love chapter 12. Chapter 12 is the Holy Spirit's curriculum. And it starts off with the judgment of the Holy Spirit. Don't get caught up in terms that sound religious, sorry. Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit's curriculum. The Holy Spirit is a symbol of the voice for God in our minds. That's it. When we talk about Jesus, if we talk about anything that sounds like religion, then all it is a symbol. Of course, has words are symbols of symbols twice removed. So don't get caught up in the concept, which is why, in Zen they say, if you see the Buddha in the middle of the road, kill the Buddha. Kill the concept. So, the psychological concept that we hold to in A Course in Miracles is we have a split mind. Seemingly so. In reality, the mind can't be split because we share the mind of God. We are ideas in the mind of God, and ideas leave not their source, meaning thoughts in the mind of God stay in the mind of God. When we have true thoughts from that right part of the mind, the part that is already connected and always with God, we are naturally extending loving thoughts. When we relate to the ego, which is an illusion, then we are projecting. And that causes the perception that we see, and we are not alone in experiencing the thoughts that we see. So lesson 12, the judgment of the Holy Spirit. You have been told not to make error real. Error is another word for sin. Don't make sin real. And the way to do this is very simple. If you want to believe in error, you would have to make it real because it is not true. But truth is real in its own right. And to believe in truth, you do not have to do anything. Nothing. Understand that you do not respond to anything directly, but to your interpretation of it. This is so important. We don't understand anything directly. All we understand is our interpretation for it. This is why true forgiveness is so valuable. Your interpretation thus becomes the justification for the response. I have interpreted something as an attack, therefore my response is justified to attack back, to defend, to fight, whatever. But this is why analyzing the motives of the others is hazardous to you, because all I can have is my interpretation of events. If you decide that someone is really trying to attack you, or desert you, or enslave you, you will respond if he had actually done so, having made his error real to you. To interpret error is to give it power, and having done this, you will overlook truth. The truth is, we are all united in the mind of God. The truth is that we are all Christ. As our friend on, what was it, Friday, Mark, who came up. Mark is a mystic, a master teacher of A Course in Miracles. Sorry, my cat is meowing at the back of my head. And he called it Christ dancing with Christ, God dancing with God, light dancing with light. Seeing from ego is separation. I agree, Chuck. I agree. Hey, Long John. So, we're getting to some of my favorite lines. The analysis of the ego motivation is very complicated, very obscuring, and never without your own ego involvement. The ego analyzing the ego is always about the ego. Hey, Fred. The whole process represents a clear-cut attempt to demonstrate your own ability to understand what you perceive. This is shown by the fact that you react to your interpretation as if it were correct. No interpretation is correct because everyone has a different interpretation. This is shown by the fact that you react to your interpretations as if they were correct. You may then control your reactions behaviorally, but not emotionally. All right, here's my favorite part. There is but one interpretation of motivation that makes any sense. And because it is the Holy Spirit's judgment, it requires no effort at all on your part. Every loving thought is true. Hey, Mustafa. Every loving thought is true. Every loving thought is true. One more time. Every loving thought is true. Everything else is an appeal for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes. If someone is giving you anything that is not a loving thought, it is not true. This is summed up in the very beginning of A Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Every loving thought is true. Everything and anything else is an appeal for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes. Can anyone be justified in responding with anger to a brother's plea for help? Or sister's? No response can be appropriate except the willingness to give it to him, for this and only this is what he is asking for. Offer him anything else and you are assuming the right to attack his reality by interpreting it as you see fit. Perhaps the danger of this to your own mind is not yet fully apparent. If you believe that an appeal for help is something else, you will react to something else. Your response will therefore be inappropriate to reality as it is, but not to your perception of it. Any questions? Lesson 18 or what I just read? Imagine that. Imagine if you went through life knowing anything that seemed like an attack was an appeal for it, healing or help. What would you do? Now here's the thing. You could say, I'm not yet ready to offer you a healing. I am not capable of giving you help right now. Tending my own garden right now. I'm sorry. That's fine. But you don't have to add attack into the mix. If someone is attacking, it's an appeal for help or a plea for healing. You can say, you know what? I'm just not ready. It's okay to not be ready. And even if you find yourself reacting with an attack yourself, you can catch yourself. Do I want to add attack to attack? Do I want to add attack to someone who is clearly asking for help in the only way they know how? Hey, Lee. Good morning, my friend. Hey, Laura. Thank you, Mustafa. I appreciate you being here, my friend. I was reading some of the names that you offered. You know, Alan Ishak was one of my first guests, and he's become a wonderful friend. He's the one who got me in touch with Carol. He's the one who put me in contact with Vicky Poppy, who's become a wonderful friend as well. Hey, Parajat, my friend. I mentioned you yesterday. So again, any questions, guys? Chuck says, the body is inside my awareness. Yep, as the Course says, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. To me, I found that very freeing. I'm someone who related very much with my body. As someone from a very early age was always very physical. I started working out when I was 11. I've missed very few days in my entire life of not working out. I've probably done something every day. And Laura says, I'm good. Awesome. I related to the body quite a bit. And as I got older, I would find myself even like mourning a little bit of what seemed harder to do. Doing pretty good for 60. I'm doing pretty good regardless, right? I can do almost everything I want to do. I might not be able to do as heavy as I used to do. I'm also not interested in doing things as heavy as I used to do. But knowing that I am not a body, that I am free, knowing what our friend Chuck said, that the body is inside my awareness, I can tend to it in a very loving fashion. You know, it's like having a garden. When if you have a flower garden, a flower bed, and a flower springs up, you tend to it, you love it, you appreciate it. You do everything you can to make that flower's existence, as brief as it is in the world, as lovingly as possible. But you don't attach to it that when the flower goes, I go. When the flower goes, the gardener goes. Right? Nope. The gardener remains, as do you. When the body goes, spirit. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. We are ideas in the mind of God, existing right now at home in the mind of God. That's awakening. When you awaken in the morning, you're still in bed, right? You don't awaken and find yourself in a whole nother room. You awaken, you're here. When we awaken, we find that we are at home with God right now. Nowhere else. Lee says, hey, Mustafa, lovely to see you. I missed you and your questions. Also, Mustafa, Friday with our guests had awesome questions for our guests. Anna says, the daffodils in my garden will very soon be blooming. Awesome. I love flowers. I love, Eckhart Tolle talks about flowers in The New Earth. If I can find that. Give me a second. We're going to look it up. Eckhart Tolle on flowers. Here's a quote. Flowers, more fleeting, more ethereal, and more delicate than the plants out of which they emerged, would become like messengers from another realm, like a bridge between the world of physical form and the formless. They not only had a scent that was delicate and pleasing to humans, but also brought a fragrance from the realm of spirit. Using the word enlightenment in a wider sense than the conventionally accepted one, we could look upon flowers as the enlightenment of plants. I love that. We could look upon flowers as the enlightenment of plants. In language of A Course in Miracles, that our loving thoughts are the flowering of who we are. When you offer someone a loving thought, you're literally flowering. You're literally the enlightenment of a human being. Mustafa says, sub 1990, I love you, my friend, and love you forever. Hey, Long John. Long John says, I like flowers. So is that roses? Roses, what's the other one? Mustafa says hi to Parajat. Hey, David. David says, I need a deeper meaning. What do you need a deeper meaning of? Anna says, the enlightenment of plants. So we're halfway through January. We're not too far, man. We're not too far from those early days of spring. I love spring. I love everything coming back to life, seemingly so. I love the enlightenment of the world through the flowering of every plant possible. Mustafa says, Eric, read what I wrote to you above. Rosa says, that's a bit uncomfortable. I'm flowering. You are flowering more so than others, my friend. Mustafa says, I can ask Eric questions if you want. And Eric, there are things humans cannot live without. Oxygen, human, and you. Beautifully said. Thank you. I really appreciate hearing that. I think a lot of people do just fine without me. Me too, David. Me too. Changing in the seasons. Took says, seeing you all right is sight. Seeing you right is sight. Language of the Course, they'd say, seeing us aright is vision. Vision being different than sight. Sight is done with the physical eyes, vision is done with the spiritual eye. David says, I used to think intelligent people were assholes. Well, then you would like me just fine. Thank you, Black Vega. I appreciate that. I appreciate the subscription. Mustafa says, we love you, Eric, and you should know that. Thank you, Mustafa. Melissa says, David, that's quite a hilarious statement. All right. What do you guys think? So I'm going to dive into chapter 4 a little bit again. There is nothing to prevent you from recognizing all calls for help as exactly what they are, except your own imagined need to attack. We really defend our need to attack. We make it real, and we're willing to die for it. Not only that, we're willing to kill for it. I have to attack. I have to attack you before you attack me. I have to attack you before you even think of attacking me. It is only this that makes sense, your willingness to engage in endless battles, quotation marks, with reality, in which you deny the reality of the need for healing by making it unreal. What if the only need that we had was the need for healing? What if every seeming attack was a cry for healing or an appeal for help? Every single one. Every single one. As real as some of them might feel. It is surely good advice to tell you not to judge what you do not understand. And you can never understand someone else's interpretation of events, their interpretation of the body, their interpretation of what they think is real. It's their interpretation, and they will fall on that sword, as we do as well. And yet all of these interpretations are button heads, they're clashing. We're insisting that only our interpretation is how things should be. And if someone even remotely agrees with our interpretation, well, now we have a side, and it's my side of interpretations against your side of interpretations. And no one wins in a battle like that, because interpretation will shift, and those that we thought were friends, those that we thought were allies, now become enemies, because we're suddenly seeing, well, wait a minute, their interpretation doesn't really align with mine, or my interpretation shifted. I see things differently. No one with a personal investment is a reliable witness, for truth to him has become what he wants it to be. If you are unwilling to perceive an appeal for help as what it is, it becomes you're unwilling. It's because you're unwilling to give help and to receive it. To fail to recognize a call for help is to refuse help. Yet this is what you are maintaining when you refuse to recognize a brother's appeal, for only by answering his appeal can you and me, be helped. Deny him your help, and you will not recognize God's answer to you. The Holy Spirit does not need your help, but in interpreting motivation, but you do need his. All right. Seeing you is Christ. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, David. Bicycle says, do you look like Moby? Have you ever considered that Moby looks like me? Why do I have to look like Moby, and why can't Moby look like me? I believe I'm older than Moby. Therefore, that means I'm the original. I think I might have been bald before Moby. I probably needed glasses before Moby. You ever think that Moby came in here, saw me, and copied my looks? Pretty sure that's exactly how it happened. Fred says, if you're enjoying the stream, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Thank you, Fred. Wilson says, you don't really even look like Moby. No, I don't. I don't look like any of the people that people come in here and tell me that I look like. And the proof of that is like none of those people that they mentioned look like each other. For some reason, people see and their eyes try to make sense of what they see, so they go with someone who has familiar patterns. They see a bald guy in glasses and they think Moby. As long as it's saying he's just a Moby, doing burpees in his basement. I was actually humming that the other day. Skits' song. He's just a yogi doing burpees in his basement. Wassa says that's excellent logic. Thank you. Chuck says universal experience is possible. Yes. A universal theology is an impossibility, but a universal experience is possible. Not only that, it's actually required. Universal theology is impossible. Hey, Cash, where are you from, brother? I am from Mid-Atlantic area, the state of Maryland, on the east coast of the United States. We're going to wrap things up in a couple minutes. Earlier day today, we go out and take a little bit longer walk. I don't know if I got snow and ice on the ground or not. I have been to Ocean City quite a bit when I was younger. In my teen years, I'd go fairly often in the summertime with a bunch of friends, high school friends. We would go hang out at the beach, walk the boardwalk, body surf, that kind of stuff. And in my late 20s, 30s, I'd actually go in the winter a few times. My girlfriend at the time, her family had a beach house, and we would go there in the winter. We would go camp out on Catoctin with an Assateague with the wild ponies. Not Catoctin, Chincoteague with the wild ponies. Hey, Nikki. Nikki, how are you? Nikki, how are the watch hours? Cacho says, I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. I apologize. Nice from Kelly. You look like you have a lot of knowledge in life. Look at all them books in the back. What are you reading? Right now, I'm reading a book by Richard Rohr called The Universal Christ. I love the first chapter. Christ was not Jesus' last name. But I try not to confuse knowledge with what I read in a book. Knowledge is what I've acquired by living, but what I've acquired, through my own mistakes, my bumps, my bruises. Longer says, Fred, check out his channel. Yogi got all the wildlife on them walks. Oh, what do you see when you take your long walks? Yeah, depending on the day and the season. I spent most of the second half of last year watching beavers, fox, had an osprey in my neighborhood. It kept missing the eagle. Every year we get an eagle. I got lots of blue herons, green herons, egrets come and visit. Had a night heron not long ago. In March, we're going to have messenger ducks. We got lots of ducks and geese, crows, all kinds of different birds. I had some mourning doves on my deck. I mentioned foxes. We have coyotes, but I don't see them. Every once in a while, I'll hear them. Every year from May until July, we have bears wander through. I live in a town, but it's a wide open town full of all kinds of stuff. But The nearest like sustainable bear population is about 45 minutes to an hour away. And every year when, hey Brian, when mother bears are giving birth, they chase or getting ready to, they chase their yearlings, the older bear cubs away. And they run off to find new territory. And they come through here. They don't stay. We don't have a residential bear population, but we have a wandering bear population. I'm always on the lookout for them. What else do we have? There was rumors that there was a bobcat. I never saw it. I thought I might have heard it. We've got muskrats, tons of deer. I love my neighborhood. Absolutely love it. This is all within like a 2 mile radius of my house. I can see all of this. I have the pond with the beavers is less than a quarter mile away. I'm there in about 5 minutes. We got snakes, frogs, toads, turtles, all kinds of turtles. I cannot think of turtles without thinking of our good friend Brian Lane. Longton says, real like Yogi's wildlife because same shit I got in my backyard, which is good. It is good, isn't it? So what's this shit about life after death? I don't know, as I'm still alive. But if something happens otherwise, I'll be sure to let you know. I'm reminded by Suzuki Roshi, the Zen master, on his deathbed, when all of his students gathered around him, eager for these last words of wisdom, and they said, so what's going to happen to you when you pass away? What's going to happen to a Zen master when he dies? And Suzuki Roshi looked and said, I don't know, which really shocked everyone. Because they said, well, how can you not know? You're a Zen master. And he laughed and said, yes, but I'm not a dead Zen master. Now, my experience through meditation, my experience through practicing a lifetime of yoga and A Course in Miracles really points in the direction of what I was talking about before. I am not a body. I am free, for I'm still as God created me. If I'm not a body, then what exactly dies? Right? If the body ceases in this form, and yet every molecule, every atom, every particle becomes something else, and yet what was aware of all of those particles? What was aware of those atoms? What was aware of the molecules? Where does that go? As long as I'm relating solely to the body, then I'm going to suffer a great loss when I die. I'm going to suffer the loss of who I am, right? But when I start relating to that awareness that is existing in witness to the body, that was existing before the body came into existence, that was existing and will exist after the body ceases in this form, where can I ever go? I'll let you know. We got lions, horses, and rams. I love all of those things. We got wild horses on Assateague and Chincoteague, but that's about 3 hours away. Hey, B-Show. Please consider a shower next time. Never. This man is talking gibberish. Yep, no doubt about that, Joe. What's it says? The books aren't meant to mean anything. They're just there. Yep. Longden says, Yogi, a good 10 years ago, they let 700 plus coyotes around my way to control deer population. We have wandering bears as well. I love bears wandering through. First says, so like Dr. Doolittle, do you talk to the animals? I do talk to the animals. I talk to everything. I talk to my desk. I talk to you. I talk to my glasses. I talk to Joe wears makeup. Him and I have extended conversations about my gibberish. Nikki says, it's a shell and the rest goes on. Beautiful. Melissa says, Joe, what would make better sense to you? Enjoy life, get high, and don't look back. All right. I don't think that I said anything different than that. Different ways of getting there. Chuck says, when Charlie died, love will not be seen from this perspective. Love will be itself. Melissa says, okay, Joe, if that's your philosophy, have at it. I agree. I'm not here to argue with anyone otherwise. Do what makes you happy, man, as long as it really makes you happy. In the end, though, here's what you'll find. None of that really makes you happy. None of it really makes you happy. Nothing seemingly external can make anyone happy. It can't, because it changes. All right. We're getting close, guys. About 5 minutes, we'll wrap things up. Happy to answer any questions about Lesson 18 or Chapter 12. Our friend Chuck says, happiness is open presence now. I agree. You too, Brian. You gonna get some big reps in today, Brian? I want to check out Leo doing Burpee Giants challenge. I haven't watched a whole lot of people. Eric LaPointe. I think he's the only one I've been watching doing this challenge. Brian says something like that, Yogi. Awesome, Brian. Hey, Long John, what do you know about bull sharks? Bull sharks are one of my favorite topics to talk about. Superman says, you said you were a yogi? I don't believe that I did say that. Are you familiar with Yogananda Paramahansa? I mean that guy right back there and right above there? A little bit. Brian says I didn't do the challenge. Me neither. Bull sharks are trouble, fresh or saltwater. Yeah, they are. They can be anywhere. They could be like right here. They could be right behind me. They could be waiting downstairs in my kitchen, drinking my coffee as we speak. I'm always suspicious of bull sharks. I'm always on the lookout for bull sharks. First says, when you see a bear, do you say, hi there, Mr. Bear? How are you? Maybe not in those words, but more or less. Superman says, my bad, you didn't say it, but is your name just a yogi? It is. Yep. Just a guy that practices yoga. Rosa says, I've had bull sharks in my basement. Yes. Got to be aware. What about hammerhead sharks? I'm not scared of hammerhead sharks because I'm not where hammerhead sharks could be. They're saltwater sharks, as are most sharks, but bull sharks can thrive in brackish as well as fresh water. They've been found high up in the Mississippi. They've been found in Ohio, believe it or not, because they can go up, hey, Jamie, they can go up any river, any tributary. Every year they're caught in the Patuxent and Potomac rivers. And actually, right behind my house is a creek that is a tributary to the Patuxent River, to the Little Patuxent, which is a tributary to the Middle Patuxent, which is a tributary to the Patuxent. Melissa says they've been found in lakes. Yes, they have. Jamie says hi to Anna. Yeah, I read that, Wessa. The True Jaws, and it was in New Jersey, right? And it was in rivers. Chuck says bull sharks use coffee as bait for yogis. Well, great. I did not know that, but now I know that. Basking sharks are huge too. Not scared of basking sharks. Are they can I think bull sharks are the only ones that can thrive in fresh water though. I think. I could be wrong. Yes, a bull shark in the river that they never even got. So it could still be there, lurking in a river near you. Keep that in mind, guys. There was a Facebook meme, and I love when it comes up, I always repost it. The chances of being killed by a cow are slim, but never zero. Never zero. Environment says sharks are great at pool. Now, how do you figure that? I'd like to see a shark hold a pool stick. Saltwater crocodile or bull shark who wins in water? It's a good question. I'm going to go with a bull shark. Bull sharks are, I think, naturally more aggressive. But you know who would win over all of those? Hippopotamus. Melissa says, not the only sharks that can go in fresh water, but the most dangerous and well-adopted shark to it. Thank you, Wissa. All right, I stand corrected. Sharks hold pool sticks with their fins. Duh. Stand corrected. You're absolutely right. I didn't think things through. I didn't take it to its logical consequence. So in the late 1980s through the early 1990s, to answer our friend up above about Paramahansa Yogananda, I did the mail order courses for the Self-Realization Fellowship, which is the organization founded by Paramahansa Yogananda to teach Kriya Yoga. I never took the initiation towards the end. I did all my lessons. I got to the point where I could ask for the initiation. I even thought about being a devotee to the order. But there was a few things that I did not necessarily agree with 100%. One was by that time I was also studying A Course in Miracles. And the pledge that you were supposed to take is that this was your path, no others. Megalodons are scary. You ever see that movie with that other bald guy? The other bald guy, Jason Statham? I'm sorry, as far as Jason Statham's concerned, I'm the other bald guy. And you also were not, so you were not supposed to incorporate any other uh, schools of yoga or teachers or swamis except for Paramahansa Yogananda. And specifically, they were not supposed to engage in any other channeled text. And the A Course in Miracles is considered by some a channel text, channeled material. And as I was more and more becoming engrossed as a student of A Course in Miracles, I couldn't take that pledge. I didn't want to take that pledge, so I never did. Long just says, Yogi, why are some neighbors so damn nosy when they will literally watch you like wildlife? You know, it's bothering you and you know you're enjoying it. Why the obsession, Yogi? I don't know. It's a good question. We never know why anyone is obsessed with anything. They think you're up to something. They think you're up to no good. You can't sway with pride when they praise you, and you can't sway with fear when they condemn you. Equanimity. The essence of yoga. Equanimity. Longjen says, Anna, you got neighbors? Do you interact with them? If so? What's it says? Oh, it's the bull shark, isn't it? I'm not going to answer that. What's it? I'm not going to answer that. I've watched Saturday Night Live. I know what's going on. Lanchar, I mean UPS man. That was one of the best Saturday Night Live skits ever. I think India does have bull sharks. Superman. They also got crocodiles. And they got too many snakes for their own good. They got cobras. Cobras scare me a bit. They don't have the courtesy to rattle like a good old-fashioned American rattlesnake. Our snakes are courteous. Our snakes look at you and they give a rattle and say, now leave me alone. Long just says, Anna, are they good neighbors? Are they good neighbors and do you get along with them? I'm blessed with the neighbors I have right now and so glad the other ones moved away. I have decent neighbors to the left of me, depending on which direction I'm facing. And the ones to the right, they're all right. We got a little bit of issues. Bull sharks almost everywhere in the world, yes. Do they have lizard people too? India? I don't know. I think everyone has lizard people, right? Hey guys, let's wrap things up. It's almost 6 o'clock. I'm getting out there probably about an hour, in which I can cover a little over 4 miles if I hustle. I've been doing, it's considered a Japanese interval walking. You walk for casual pace 3 minutes and then you walk fast briskly for 3. I do a lot of power walking, which is basically race walking, but I don't go by the form. Race walking, the knee in front of you has to be straight, which I find tough on the knees. And of course, you're in alignment. You can go pretty fast. I raced walk my last, well, I power walked my last 50K, and it was over 50K. It was actually 36 miles. But in ultra marathons, 50K is anything under 40 miles. 50 miles can mean anywhere from 60 to 50 something. And so 36, and I did it in 7 hours and 4 minutes, thereabouts. I averaged about 13 something miles per minute. On a good day, on a good mile, on a short distance, I could race walk about a 9 something mile. Hey, Marlon. Rosa says, the question is, you know what a coelacanth is? That's fascinating. I don't know what that is. Superman says, close to where Yogananda lived, according to the Hopi Indians. Underneath Sunset Boulevard, there are lizard people. Interesting. Yep, 13 minutes per mile. He said 13 something miles per minute. My wheels are spinning. Well, I don't want your wheels to spin, my friend. Superman says, LA Times article about Sunset Boulevard lizard people. I will look for that. I'm right with lizard people. I don't mess with them and they don't mess with me. Once we start messing around, then we might got some problems. Coelacanth, thank you. It's probably the first fish species to walk on land still living. Well, they didn't get very far, did they? Do you know that dolphin fins have finger bones in them? Meaning, at one point, they started developing the useful utensils for living on land, and then they looked around, they saw the mess that they might happen, and they're like, nah, we're good, and went back into the ocean. Don't blame them. Thank you, Wessa. All right, guys. I'm going to see everyone later. I'll be live at 1 o'clock. I got to send out a message to Miss Flipper. No, I'm not good at chess, Superman. I used to think I was really, really good at checkers until I realized my grandfather was letting me win. Thank you, Chuck. First says 3 a.m. California, 6 a.m. here. So I'm going to see if Miss Flipper can come up today. Nothing going on this evening. Tomorrow we have Keith Giles coming up at 1 o'clock. Keith is the best-selling author of, I don't remember the title, but it is about the Gospel of St. Thomas, as well as another book on the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. These are the so-called Gnostic texts. Many scholars don't hold them as a Gnostic. We're going to ask Keith about that tomorrow. Nope. I haven't seen Tiger King in a couple of days. I haven't seen Sniper this morning either. I don't think he was over at Cats. See if it's Gospel of Pistis Sophia. That I'm not aware of, my friend. At death, don't go to light is what the Gnostic Christians say in the Pistis Sophia. Interesting. Thanks for that, Superman. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Again, come on by, hang out with me and Miss Flipper. If she can make it today at 1 o'clock. I think it was tonight that Tiger King said he wanted to come up, Long John. I don't perceive that happening. Love is energetic. I agree, Chuck. Thank you, Fred. I will enjoy my walk. Love you guys. I'm going to see everyone later. Take care.